escape.
Maybe try alt-tabbing out.
See, I did that and it didn't work.
You fucking owned Curtis Ho. Fuck.
Alright, I'm streaming. It's like Halo Reach. Damn, this shit runs good. This shit runs really good. At least on a fucking 1080, this shit runs A1.
I was trying to
Oh
kill
my god, they killed me. I'm back, boys.
Give me a sec. Okay. I gotta change the volume. The volume is mad loud right now.
Not even fucking streaming, fake streaming.
What? What do you mean I'm not streaming? I'm streaming.
No, you're not.
What do you? Yeah, I am, dude.
No way to work up to the top again.
I probably follow you, man. You're not streaming.
That's-
Search your name. You're not streaming.
it says I'm streaming.
Oh, where art thou, sniper?
I don't know. I reload my page and it says I'm streaming.
Where are you hiding?
I got the Twitch notification. I'm streaming.
I thought we were buddies.
I can clip it too.
No, it's working now.
How's it get domed in the back?
You're not popping up in the follow channel.
I was totally gonna party that.
That's
When
what
you
matter
start
now.
streaming, you just say you're live. So you have to like go to your channel like you.
Oh no, not Butter Biscuit.
Shit runs mad smooth though. I don't have all the settings like maxed out, but
It feels the same.
I don't know. I've never played Halo on a mouse and keyboard,
Oh nah, dude, what are you doing?
bro. On a mouse and keyboard, it's good.
Butter Biscuit.
Nah, I wouldn't play on mouse. I would just play the controller.
I'm playing with it again.
If I were to play, I would just play the controller.
Oh, he got me. I
Whoa.
fell into my own
Whoa.
trap.
Uh oh. Something just happened.
Holy-
It just froze.
I just got domed.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what just happened. It just
I'm
froze.
doing absolute garbage this game.
Is that the voice chat? Or is that you?
Yeah, I do that every game.
I can still hear these
I
dudes
do that
talking
every
though.
game.
No, I say
No,
I
it's
do
not
that
me. I
every game.
muted the audio.
No, I said I can still hear these dudes talking though. Like, in my game, like my.
Play
Hey,
this
we're
like a
tied.
I didn't hear enough. I unmuted it.
I haven't played. Oh, hey, sniper.
Like I'm still getting audio from it, which is weird.
I flew into oncoming fire from like 6 different
Look.
directions.
Just waiting. See, I mean, I died. Alright, I'm just gonna close it. I'll relaunch. Weird. It's not even gonna like. Alright. Relaunching. That's weird though. Like, I don't understand why that. Relaunching.
I just don't. I don't know.
Let me close some shit that I have in the background. Uh-oh, what's going on here? You gonna let me see the server browser? It's definitely still a little bugged. Oh, I just have to hit enter. You can't click on certain things. I mean, there's like 500 something people playing.
Yeah. That's decent.
Yeah,
Decent enough.
it's definitely a good amount. I don't even know. I think I'm playing Infection right now. Like people still have fucking. That's dope. People still have Infection. Oh shit.
New zombie.
Yeah, I'm playing. Oh, it's so whack. This dude has a ghost. Bruh. Nah, I'm playing. I don't want to play Infection right now.
BR, man.
Do you remember this Infection map? Do you ever play this shit?
This is a regular map.
Nah, dude, this. Yeah, but the Forge map, the Forge part of the map.
No,
That's-
I don't play Infection, dude.
New zombie.
I was too busy being a 50 in MLG, bro.
Yeah, no, I had people like invite me to this shit, and like this is a very. All right, I'm switching fucking.
New zombie.
What the fuck is that? Oh my god.
What? I'm not playing Infection. It's not what I want to play right now.
Nah, it's the fucking. You don't hear it because you got your headphones on, but it's
My dad shit.
It was like a dude like screaming.
Yeah,
like, on it,
yeah,
and there's like
that's
some
usually-
Chinese talk afterwards.
Usually what it is.
Sounded like gay porn for a sec.
Dead. Filters. Oh, you have to close mic.
I'm
filter.
dead. He called it fake Halo. I'm dead.
Alright. Okay.
Nah, that's just real Halo.
Yo. I'm dead at him saying fake Halo though. That's dead. Oh, it's I do not want to the fucking ping to this one server's garbage. I wasn't paying attention. It's the same server I think I was playing before. I'm gonna fucking leave game before it caused me to fucking crash. Ping to the server I just joined was like fucking 230, dude. What is this? Cancelled. You can change your server browsers. Fuck. Why is that shit like? Oh, here we go.
Oh, bro, I
But
need
that's not. Oh my god, it's not joining. When I hit like join server and then I just like close the shit. What the fuck? Alright, that's I don't know. It's weird.
Damn, this is the dope menu simulator right here, man. Weak.
I don't. You can't see the server browser, right?
Nah.
Okay.
That's kind of cool.
It like makes like a totally different. There we go. Now we're joining this shit. It like brings up a total like alt tab window. Doesn't show ping in game. Kinda whack. Alright, F is grenade.
Yeah, I can't play Halo if it's not bumper jumper. This isn't. It's gotta be any control with bumper jumper.
I don't know, dude. It's the first time playing fucking Halo on a fucking. Who's fucking shooting me? Oh, from behind.
They should have banned up this stuff for PC, man. It would be way better.
I mean, this shit's been out for a minute. And there's like a few Halo clones. These people really want Halo. bad.
Like, blue.
I know. Maybe there's a delay.
Damn, all these guys having the same ways out here, man.
Bro, these dudes like took my kills.
I'm dead.
I don't know if I can deal with this Halo music though. This fucking Banshee is so annoying. Where's this fucker?
Nice one. Nice flying, bro.
Bro, chill, bro. Dude, I forgot that this fucking.
You can go back, you can go side to side and front to back too.
Yeah.
Like,
Get the fuck out of here!
dead and crashing into that shit.
Minutes remaining.
Get wrecked, bruh. Got smoked, man.
Not really, but. Oh my god, this fucking raid. What is. Yo, I'm bucking deceased.
What the fuck?
I just like died. I don't even know what the fuck was going on.
Must have sniped you or something.
Yeah. Dude.
What?
mash this toggle? Definitely not.
One minute remaining. Seconds remaining.
Easy. Yo, you see that dude's name, War of the Cucks? I'm dead. I thought that was you for a second.
I'm done.
Oh, keep the movement,
10
man.
seconds remaining. Game over.
Plug in the controller and see how it feels.
My controller won't work for some reason.
Yeah, it's been pretty whack.
Oh no.
Damn, look at the armor sets and the fucking
Yeah,
helmets.
because they have the they have like the
all the halos.
yeah, they have like the new armor sets and shit.
Damn.
So that's kind of dope.
I want to play, but I just want to wait till the update comes out Friday, so it's like...
Might as well just download it, at least. You're not really, you still like have to update it through the launcher, so.
Desync on, bruh. Come on, huh?
Capture the flag.
Damn. Shit, boy.
What is there? Fucking, it sounds like there's a sword fight going on.
Yeah, there's a sword fight going on. Yeah.
Oh, Halo 3 maps and shit?
Yeah, I got Halo 3 maps, Halo 1. Oh god. I fucked up that nade. Oh, I'm fucked. I wish they had like, it counted my ping. The headshot noise is pretty good though. Like, but that's only when you get headshots, not when it happens, which is annoying. Audio. Gameplay. Hit. No HUD shake.
What the fuck is HUD shake?
So like when you like get shot, I think.
Oh, that's whack. Makes it more
Oh, they're
cinematic,
camping
I
the
get it.
fuck out of me. Good boss.
You gotta get in the circle strafe, man. It's just mad hard to do on a keyboard, though. This is annoying.
Oh, I feel like this would be easier, but I don't really do it regardless.
Nah, Yeah, but you want to go to Vegas. Then started doing the figure eights on him. Woo! That's how you get fishing, boy. Oh, potato heads, son. No, where's my pig, man? I want to see my pig.
Oh, the ping is definitely fucked up in this. Like, some of the servers are like pretty weird, wild. Ping wise.
Game over.
Damn, that was quick.
What's your FPS? Or you're not sure?
It doesn't show. Let's screen check right now.
Jesus. What the fuck was that? Like, what was that?
That's CTF.
You guys lost CTF that fast? 3?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Damn. Does it show your can you customize your character at all? or what's-
Not in game. Before you launch, you can. There's like a list of shit. I'll show that. I'll show that in a second.
I
I'll
don't
show
live in
that.
a room anyways. This is interesting.
So, okay. Let's show it.
It's a
Whoa.
black screen, bro.
Yeah, hold on. Damn, dude, chill, bro.
What you
Patience,
mean?
bro.
I'm not excited, man.
It's a black screen. I know it's a black screen. I see what's being shown right now. It's fucked up. Oh, I can't show you that. Cannot show you that. Anyway, it's just like a small little like menu, and then you get like a drop down
Come on,
for
bro.
all that.
Kinda...
all the shit. That's all I got for you, dude.
What kind of stream is this, man? Can you see anything?
Well,
It's a
hold
blue
up.
box, man.
There we go. There you go. Oh, hold up. I can see that shit.
Oh shit.
So, got only Halo 4 shit.
Oh, there we go. Nah,
Yeah.
click the helmet shit. Click the helmet shit. The f No. That's like an ODST skin.
Yeah, I know.
Go down. They must have different names for a lot of this shit or something. I'm about to look at it right now.
It's all like Halo 4 and Halo, like, it's all just Halo 4 shit. Pretty sure it's all just Halo 4 shit.
Let's see here. Check it. Oh no, this dude shows it in the fucking game. Holy shit. Yeah, dude, they need to add like the fucking the reach, like the helmet effects, like the lightning bolts and like the fucking the pestilence, whatever it was called. Yo, no
Yeah,
bullshit.
they got
No
different weapons
bullshit.
shit.
No bullshit. This is a huge. There's more people that play Reach now than play Halo 5 online. There's like a huge community that plays that shit. What they need to do is fucking port that shit.
Word.
I wonder what they're adding, or if they're adding anything to the patch notes are for Friday.
Flip the screen. There we go. Like the filters, like why can I want to see games with like maximum amount of people. That shit's fucking garbage. They're showing me all these like completely full fucking servers. And mad people have locked servers. There's a bunch of just fucking infection.
See, that's what you gotta worry about. There's a lot of nerds just playing fucking mod custom games.
Definitely what fucking happens. What the fuck? It's not even loading that fucking server I just chose? Oh fuck, I just closed it. Fucking relaunch, that's just kind of annoying. I'm dead. My friend literally just started watching, just posted on fucking Instagram that he's playing Halo Online. I'm dead. Literally once I launched that shit.
Oh, come on.
This fucking fat kid Angel. I'm
God,
fucking
that kid?
deceased. Yeah, literally. He's playing it right now. He just posts on Instagram, bro. Fucking Halo Online. Who trying to play?
Oh man. Let's see.
This kid does it. He didn't realize that you have to alt tab to get the server browser. I'm dead. Whoa, what the fuck? I got like, there's two different server browsers, that's why. There's a bunch of different server browsers. I don't want Sprint, fuck Sprint. Oh shit, this is a totally different fucking... Bro. The fuck? That shit's mad weird, dude.
What?
I'm on a different like menu. I'm on like the Halo 3. There's like a Halo 3 menu. I'll show you in a sec. Set up game capture. This shit is weird. Like a weird ass fucking there's swap. Join. Well, let me join the game. It just blacks out. And it loads it on a different... Dude, so good. Am I gonna have two games running? No, right? Okay.
Lost the lead.
Oof.
Lost the lead. Lost the lead.
Lost. I'm dead.
Lost the lead.
I gotta change my sensitivity up a little bit.
Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Lost the lead.
There are people getting frame rate stutters. Get out of my way! Holy fucking shit. Damn. Getting bodied right now.
kill. Gain the lead. Gain the lead. Lost the lead.
Oh my god, I'm dumb.
Killjoy.
Oh, I'm retarded.
There's no ranking now?
I don't think so.
Lost the lead.
I wouldn't think there would be.
Gain the lead. Gain the lead. Gain the lead.
Oh, I'm retarded. Oh, I stood still.
5 minutes remaining. Gain the lead.
Damn, it's to 100 kills, boss. Surprised I got that kill. What?
FIFA, oh my.
Game over.
We're about to add emotes to the game, man.
I'm dead. Just retarded.
Slayer. Lost the lead.
Come on, bro, you're playing, man.
Bitch, bad. Oh shit.
kill. Gain the lead.
I shoot him in the head. He can one-shot him.
I know.
Straight nipple
I just
shooter
copped
out
a,
here,
I just
man.
copped a triple kill, bro. Chill.
Yeah, that third kill was suspect.
Game bots.
Killing spree.
Just Halo. These kids are really fucking scrubs in here.
There's probably a bunch of scrubs that got on today. It's probably really. I mean, if my friend D'Angelo got that shit, definitely mad scrubs playing this game. Oh my god.
This shit looks easier than the Xbox one.
This shit's mad easy. Hold on, give me a sec. I gotta do something. Gotta add this fucktard on Discord because he doesn't know how to fucking use Discord. He's retarded.
Oh my god, bro. Did you have like 16 females on your friends list on Discord, me?
I'm dead.
It's all bitches! Yikes. Game
Bro.
bitches, bro.
Bro, it's better than kick, bro.
Better than what?
I said it's better than kick.
Kick. Fuck you mean?
What? What I mean?
What do you mean kick? The fuck does that mean?
It's like a messenger. Oh my god, the spawn killing, you fucking homos. This dude's lagging. What the fuck, dude? Bro. Yo, what up, faggot? Yo, this fucker just called me. You don't even know how to use his mic. What a fucking bum, dude. Don't even call me. You can't use a mic. Don't even call me, dude. You don't even got a mic on for your computer. Don't even fucking call me. End the call. End the fucking call, dude. Fucking scrub. Fucking D'Angelo, the dumbass, fucking calls me on fucking Discord. Doesn't even have a mic. What? How'd that not? I should have killed him.
Double kill.
Wow, good job. You shot the fucking fusion. What the fuck kind of spawn is that, dude? Alright, that was my fucking kill. Oh, he's dead. retarded.
How do you launch this shit?
What do you mean?
Like, I downloaded it, but how do you launch
Do you
it?
download a full, or do you download? Extract all the files. Yeah, extract all the files. And then they expand to like 3 gigs. It's not too bad.
Why is it showing that I downloaded the folder? Do I have to really like download WinRAR type shit?
Probably.
Holy fuck. Thank God.
Five minutes remaining. Game over.
Wow, the version updated.
What? Oh. Player customization.
Yeah.
The fuck? You can do different battle rifles?
Yeah, it's just what it's just like on the start screen type shit. That's all it is.
Uh-oh.
Are you gonna play?
Yeah, I'll play. Let's see how this shit plays. Fucking nigger.
Fucking yo, chill, dog, chill.
Oh.
Boy said, nigger. Yeah, that'd be mad funny if you could change what Discord says when someone joins your server. That'd be pretty funny. Just like have like it like, bro.
Betrayal lost the lead. Lost the lead.
Hold on. Oh, shit. What?
Lost the lead.
What is this shit?
What? What is what?
Gain the lead. Double kill.
Shit on around.
Yeah, fucking dick face. Wow, your mic finally works.
There you go.
Yeah, you sound fucking garbage. What kind of mic you have? A fucking you're using a fucking iPhone?
Type shit.
Dude, fucking kill yourself.
I'm not PC, motherfucker. I don't use PC.
Your Xbox headset doesn't work? Do you not play with a headset when you play Xbox?
Obviously, I have some Sony shit.
Oh.
It's the Sony headsets that I found. It's whatever. I use them for PS4 and all that shit.
Is it Bluetooth?
No, it's not.
What is it, USB?
Bro,
How do you connect it?
I don't have a fully fledged $1,000 PC rig, alright, bro?
Alright, hold up. It's $2,000?
Yeah, you know what I mean, bro.
No, I don't know what you mean. Because $1,000 sucks ass.
Okay, Max. Alright.
He's so try hard, man.
The-
Max is so try hard, man.
That was the first thing he messaged me. Is you're so try hard.
I have a
Type
jump.
R.
It's echoing.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there's a Magnum on this too. Oh, the no zoom Magnum.
Betrayed.
Nice.
Double kill.
Damn, that kid took my triple kill.
Killing spree. Double kill. Triple kill.
What? Damn, that was good.
And that actually looks pretty clean. Fucking.
Yeah,
How
there's
do
just
I edit my shit, dude, to get
What?
bumper jumpers? It's so AIDS.
go to controls. and
Yeah,
then
but it won't be. It only lets me adjust the fucking.
go to
It
gamepad.
picks up the controller, but it doesn't. Yeah, but it doesn't let you remap.
Interesting.
Shit.
What?
Double kill. Killing spree. Game over.
Alright, let's see what this is. Oh my god.
What?
Actions. Jesus Christ.
Slayer. Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Double kill. Lost the lead. Gained the lead. Double kill. Killing spree. Gained the lead. Triple kill. Overkill.
Oh, just caught that overkill. Oh, about to have a fucking.
Gained the lead. Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Gained the lead. Lost the lead. Gained the lead. Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Gained the lead. Lost the lead. Betrayed.
Oh.
minutes remaining.
Holy fuck. Kill him.
Game over.
So dog shit this game is for us.
What?
Dude, why is it fucking... I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, dude, this shit's...
What, the controller's fucked up?
No, the controller's fine. Interesting.
Slayer.
Oh, it's really hard to tell who's on your team and who's not on your team.
Ow.
Oh no, I'm playing free for all right now.
I'm dead.
Gain the lead. Gain the
I'm
lead.
just shitting on all this. Is
The lead.
honest.
Lost the lead.
It's
Gain the lead.
it's way too easy.
Double kill.
I just joined this oddball room and I'm already winning. Shitting on it.
Awesome.
Jesus.
Lost the lead.
Why is it still playing through my speakers and I have my fucking...
Gain the lead.
Wait, how do I get my audio? That's not playing headphones. Only thing playing through the headphones is the fucking announcer.
That's weird as fuck.
Yeah.
No idea. I don't have that problem.
kill. Triple kill.
I don't know. It's like I want to. Master Pack collection. I said if I wanted to play Halo, I would just play on my phone.
Yeah.
I play the controller anyways. It's definitely dope though, nonetheless.
I mean, if I'm getting more than 60 frames, then like if I'm actually getting more than 60 frames, that'd be dope.
Double kill. Triple kill.
But I will also say there's a bunch of noobs on this game.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Kind of upsetting. I would have thought like a game like this, like there would be a bunch of like tryhards, just cause like it's a small community. But like,
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of like fake hate. Oh, I'm a Halo fan, dude. I play it for nostalgia.
it's like the Angel, like scrubs like the Angel that playing this on their fucking.
Triple kill.
It's already over with for me.
Sad boy.
Double kill.
Dude, oh my god.
No, your boy's sitting in the other chat by himself.
Hey man, fuck him.
He must be literally retarded.
He was in here before, wasn't he?
I have no idea.
He was in here at one point. I heard him talking.
Game over.
I'm dead.
Shit.
That last kill.
And then all these controllers are scuffed as shit. Like, Will's the fucking Pro's controller breaker, dude.
Good. Now he finally
stupid.
joins.
I'm
Or
not
you,
dragging
you dragged him
room.
in? I'm dead.
Yeah, Angel Star. That's a cute porn star name you got there, bruh.
What's his official name?
That's his, what do you need his official name?
That's his IG. That's his persona. That's his 6ix9ine
Oh, I
persona.
thought you meant like his name is like actually
Oh,
government name.
oh, that'd be mad gay. That'd be the gayest shit I've ever heard.
Lost the lead.
That's literally a fucking like,
Lost the lead.
stripper name.
Lost the lead.
Look at you.
Double kill. Killing spree.
Damn.
Gain the lead. Lost the lead.
What the? No way.
Lost the lead.
Augers, I'm dead. Damn, 12v doesn't even. 12v will type in chat, but
Gain
not get
the
on.
lead.
Upset.
Gain the lead. Lost the lead.
Oh my god.
Gain the lead. Gain the lead.
What? What?
Someone photoshopped the Boston
Lost
Bomber
the
dude's
lead.
head on Sam Pepper's two friends.
I'm dead.
And they made a post on his subreddit saying, "Hey Sam, you look like you have a great streaming crew. You
Gain
can
the
really
lead.
handle the pressure well. I can't wait for your Boston stream. It is going to be explosive."
Gain the lead.
I'm
Posted them.
deceased.
Lost
Oh
the lead.
man.
Lost the lead. Lost the lead. Gain the lead. Gain the lead. Gain the lead. Lost the lead. Lost
When
the
is Sam
lead.
gonna stream again, guys? Not if I'm gonna tune in or anything, but yeah, when it's live. Also, I don't really like him. It seems like he's like 3K isn't a good time.
Lost the lead.
Dead.
Gain the lead. Lost the lead. Lost the lead.
Asking for a $3,000
Lost the
haircut.
lead.
Oh my god. $3,000 haircut. Thinks he's one of us. No content on his own. Why do I have
Gain the
cancer?
lead.
Talk shit behind people's back. Leech. Try to scam $1.5 million. New bag. No fake pranks. Jealous of all the Andes. Must be scam pepper.
Yeah, that's Scam Pepper.
So good.
Double kill.
Very real.
Double kill. Killing spree.
What?
prankster, SJW, Viner, broke Jew, white soy boy trying to
Done.
rap, must be failed YouTube stars. Sam, these threads are fucking.
Damn, they're killing it.
The feeling when new facts can't call OP a tryhard bang all because he isn't Flair. I'm dead. Yeah, people think it's just like we're not people hating us. Actually.
Double kill.
Jesus.
Double kill. Triple kill. Killing spree. 5 minutes remaining.
What?
Game over.
I didn't know that. Oh my god.
Slayer. Lost the lead. Gained the lead. kill. Triple kill. Gain the lead. Gain the lead. Lost the lead. Gain the lead. Gain the lead. Gain the lead.
What?
What? I'm dead. Dying inside. Oh, oh my god.
Sit right here.
Good to meet you. How's the road?
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Slayer.
Tell me what you're thinking and feeling right now, Gary.
I'm hurt bad,
I'm hurt bad. I'm dead.
really bad.
Really bad.
What do you have to say?
Crying.
Why?
Why? I'm dead.
I just want you to know that you didn't do anything wrong.
Could
You
you
don't
imagine
have
if you were a father and you're fucking?
Dude,
Come on, bro.
What do you
bad.
have
Disappointment,
to say about
son.
his reactions to this? I mean, you can see.
Come on, bro.
This is very raw for him. What are your feelings about the impact on your father, Gary? Here?
I'm really hurt, and I was kind of scared, honestly. Just seeing his reaction, how I don't know if it was anger or if it was just upset.
What do you want from him?
I just want you to understand that this has nothing to do with how you raised me or anything like that, and I just want you to be okay with. I just want you to be okay with me being transgender.
I'm dead.
Steph, he feels like he's failed as a father.
Jeez.
He feels like he
His
lets
son
you down.
dressed
He's
up
gone
as,
back to
for
his
Halloween
early-
as a bitch one
He said
year, and he
one
thought the
time
father thought it
for
was funny. And now
Halloween,
he's fucking.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Talk about that.
Dead.
Rip.
He dressed up
He
like a
thought he
girl.
said he thought it was Halloween.
I thought it was funny at first. No, I certainly don't.
No, I surely don't. Dead.
And what was the age?
High school, maybe?
It was during high school.
And your reaction at
Oh.
the time?
I thought it was Halloween. You know,
I thought it was
so I
Hallowing.
just went along with it.
That's what along with
Actually
it.
pinched him on his behind and said,
Pinched him
"Hey,
on his
good-looking
behind.
girl."
I'm dead. No.
Not a good-looking girl.
Not a good-looking girl.
The disappointment of
He's a
being
very
a
beautiful
game
man.
maker.
He's a very beautiful man. I'm
Right.
dead.
He feels that he's failed you as a father. Do you feel that this is a
7 years
choice
old.
you've made?
No, I've always been like this. I just hid it from everyone.
And how do you feel about it?
I just feel like this is me. This is who I am.
And
That's
how long have you hidden this?
as early as 7 years old.
I don't think he
Crazy.
understands the burden that is, how much energy that takes, how that affects
He's obviously
you
confused. He's dressed up
to
as a
live
bitch,
an
man.
inauthentic life.
Just imagine waking up
Gee.
every day
Come on,
and
bruh.
seeing and being someone that you don't want to be.
What do you hear in those words? What do you hear?
I hear confusion.
So you hear someone that is
What?
confused, mentally ill.
Yes.
What if this is not a mental illness? What if this individual is pre-wired to be a woman, but in a man's body? I'm saying, what if that is the case? What could you imagine that experience would be like for that person?
pretty hard. Pretty hard.
Pretty hard. Deceased. Deceased. On dead the tryhard. What is this? What's this next one?
And them. It's that I want to include them because they
Why?
are a part. They're a part of
they're
the
messed up.
conversation about. Did you just say trans people are messed
Yeah,
up?
they're like abnormal. You know,
Like
like women
abnormal?
traumatized. Why would you not identify what a real woman is? Because
put
people
on women's
who are
body
confused
parts?
about who they are might be offended when you might be able to help them by really identifying what a woman is and what a man is, and they may think about it and overcome their traumas.
Did you just say real woman?
Right.
So you think that there are women that aren't real women?
Yes.
Okay, like what?
A lesbian.
A lesbian's not a real woman?
Transgender. Do you think men who take off the body parts and put on women body parts, you know, like breasts and all that, and put on dresses, are they
What?
women or are they still, are they women or are they still men?
Sorry, ask the question again.
You know how they're transgenders?
Uh-huh.
Let me do this. Transgenders now, and they are confused.
Yeah, this is actually really
about
good right
their
here.
Identity. So
Oh, it's on
you
the
heard of Bruce
conservative
Jenner.
network.
We all know Bruce is a man.
We all know
But
Bruce
he
is a
took
man.
off the body part. Where you going?
I mean, that's a fact.
Why are you leaving?
Because.
Why you leaving?
What?
Because what you're saying is extremely offensive, and I'm not going to sit here for it.
Come and tell me why.
Nope.
Come and
You
tell me
running?
why.
Yep.
You run.
But I thought you were.
An actual incident that happened to. I have two boys, 11 and 13 years old. This actually happened to my eldest son, who's in grade 8. He was in the schoolyard playing. A grade 1 girl walked up to him, slapped him across the head, and said, "You are not allowed to hit girls. You cannot hit me back."
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to.
Well, at least she was being honest. You know, and an adult woman who would do that would probably find a way to turn herself into the victim. So.
Two parts here. One, I wanted to share this actual event. I have found that my boys are having a real difficulty at school.
Yeah.
Very inhospitable.
Mhm.
My eldest son has been targeted by a number of events that actually, one of them led to a criminal charge
Mm.
based on false information.
Mhm.
But the question I have for you is, what can parents, what can boys do to avoid being trapped in this condition? Like, what should my son have done?
You know, the really horrible thing is what I told my son. He was about 6, and they'd plowed the parking lot at the complex where I live, and they'd piled up all of this packed chunks of snow, right, all in a big pile at the end of the parking lot. And he was up there with a girl from the neighborhood when he should not have been. And she tried to push him off. And this is a fairly tall, about 10 feet tall pile of snow, right? And so he skidded down, right, sort of on his bum, right, hurt himself a little bit. And then he threw a piece of this snow up at her because he was mad, right? And I think he had every right to be mad. And when he came in and he told me about it, he was really upset because he was scared that he was going to get really seriously hurt. And I actually told him, right, you be really, really careful what you do when you're around girls, because I still might get her mother at my door, right, to give me heck for you throwing that at her daughter, right? Like, it's not fair. It's just not, right? But you have to be aware of what other people are going to think. I know she was in the wrong. You know she was in the wrong. But any outsider coming in is going to assume that you were the aggressive one, that you were in the wrong. And it's just a fact of life that you're going to have to deal with until we can figure out a way to change it. I mean, like, that's the really sad thing, is that you just have to disabuse your kid at age 6 of any sense of fairness or justice, right, or equal treatment. You have to tell him. You know, I mean, like, that little girl who hit your son, it's the most honest thing she could say. I mean, everything she said was true.
Yeah, what astounded me is I wondered how would a 6-year-old child learn this concept?
Oh, they know. They know.
But
I mean,
from
they
where?
see domestic violence commercials too, and and it's never okay to hit a woman, and maybe they heard it from their father when their brother was, poking them, or you don't hurt girls, right? I mean, or their mom. It's just it's pervasive. We teach our values to our kids. I mean, my dad, the only time he ever raised his voice with me was when I wasn't respecting my mother. So.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
Sorry. Hi. First of all, I want to address. I'm a Ryerson student.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to address that. It's funny that you called Naomi Wolf a feminist when she's actually a rape apologist, and basically blamed the victims of Julian Assange's rape. So she's actually not really a feminist at all.
Who?
Naomi Wolf. You mentioned her in the beginning.
She actually, as far as I'm concerned, she says she's a feminist, and
She says she is, but she's a rape apologist.
I don't know about that. Being skeptical is not rape apology.
Okay. You also said that men deserve a safe space on campus, but I would have to say that every space in society is actually a safe space for men. Men don't get catcalled when they walk down the street. I'm sorry, whenever I'm an openly gay student, whenever I fucking walk down the street, people yell at me, okay? Why? Because men like to catcall women. If I wear a short skirt, I get harassed when I walk down the street.
Catcalls are good.
No, they're not good. I'm saying, is the world safe space for women? No. Women deserve a safe space on campus. Queer people deserve a safe space on campus. Trans people deserve a safe space on campus. You mean enough? Why do men need a safe space on campus?
Why do men need a safe space? Because the very idea of an event where men are talking about men's issues in a non-sanctioned manner, right, by the powers that be, right? In other words, they don't have feminists puppeting them, right, pulling their strings, telling them what to say, okay, or they don't have feminist ideology to do it, okay? When that happens, then you have what happened at the Warren Farrell protest. I don't know if you watched the footage of that, right? But if I were one of the men who was trying to attend an event talking about male suicide and all kinds of other stuff, and I had some woman who knows she can get away with it up in my face, calling me every name in the book, screaming at me, I don't think I'd feel very safe, right? Okay? And frankly, men are the majority of victims of public sphere violence.
I'm not saying that any of those statistics or male suicide, any of that stuff exists, because it does. Men are the victims of more workplace violence, workplace suicides, low enrollment rates. That said, that's not systematic oppression in society.
Really? I think that when a 6-year-old girl can hit another child and get away with it and never ever have to suffer retaliation because he's a boy, okay? I think that's systematic. How? Because if the system intervenes and punishes the boy for hitting back, right? It's systematic.
Because we hear the same argument. What, you're saying that it should be okay to hit women? Nobody should be hitting anybody in the first place. Hit back. You can hit back. You shouldn't hit
okay for a woman to hit a man?
What?
Why does feminism say it's okay to hit a man?
Feminism does not say that it's okay to hit
Okay,
a man.
thank you for the questions. Okay, we appreciate the questions and the conversation.
Microphone, is it up
Hi.
still?
So, I was wondering, I watched a couple of your videos where you spoke at other universities, and I was wondering what you thought about the term that many feminists use, empowered women empower women, considering that I watched a lot of your videos, and a significant portion of it had to do with criticizing safe spaces and trigger warnings, which a lot of people find empowering.
We'll do trigger warnings, and then we'll do, do you mind if I do microaggression instead of safe space? Okay. Several scholars have tried to, psychologists have tried to find evidence that they're effective. And I think it was Richard McNally at Harvard, a psychologist, he looked at the data on trigger warnings and just couldn't find any evidence that this was effective. If people are traumatized, they don't know what's going to trigger them. It's unpredictable. And one of the worst things you can do is completely insulate them from the world. That if someone's traumatized by something, you kind of gradually give them little by little exposure. You don't isolate them. The other thing that Richard McNally said is that a lot of people have traumas and don't get PTSD. There's something called post-traumatic growth. It's not always that you're disabled, psychologically shattered. People are very resilient. So what he found was that this was actually a political phenomenon. It was not anything. He could not find data that showed trigger warnings help people.
Did this researcher experience something traumatizing?
What?
Did this researcher experience a traumatic situation? Have you experienced a traumatic situation?
A tragic situation?
Traumatic, in order to know that it wouldn't bother you?
I don't have to talk about my own experience to know
that other people don't need this.
Look, whatever I've experienced, I would want to know if that, maybe it's just me, maybe this is my reaction, and maybe other people are different. So you do want to have someone to look at a representative sample of the population and see what's going on. What he could not find, he doesn't rule out trigger warnings. He just said there's no evidence that these are helping people. Now, as a professor, I never gave trigger warnings. It was before that time, and I look back, I can't imagine it. But if someone, I think it would be up to us. I think students, if you are easily triggered or something, you could tell the professor. If you see what we're going to study, you say, I'm not going to be in class that day. I of course, would understand that. I hope every professor would. But
okay,
if you have to think about everything on your syllabus, and am I going to upset someone? That's really going to undermine education.
So you should only think about some things on your syllabus.
You shouldn't. What are you saying?
You said you should think about some things, but
no, I think about teaching healthy people, and which I assume most people are. And if someone's not, they should let me know. But if look, your life is not going to come with a trigger warning. When you get out of this campus, there will not be trigger warnings. Huh? No, it's not. It's not. It's a very unsafe space.
Don't you want safe spaces for free speech?
Space for reason, for debate, for open discussion, and you don't. If college.
Dead.
What that looks like. By the way, leave a like.
You wouldn't consider yourself an expert in sociology?
Yeah, I seen the Ben Sharipo.
I mean, I don't consider sociology a particular
Shapiro
expert field,
shit.
but go ahead.
I seen that shit. That shit's mad funny.
Yeah, this Jewish dude is killer, man.
I think I'm able to read a sociological study.
But so you're not necessarily an expert.
Yes, there are lots of fields of study.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is there's a lot of topics.
Let's put it this way: I know a lot less about welding than I do about sociology.
What I'm getting at is that you're not considered an expert in sociology, psychology, gender studies, lesbian dance theory, many of these things that you've brought up tonight.
I know a lot more about all those others than lesbian dance theory. As far as if you want to take issue with the argument, I would urge you not to use the argument from authority, which is somebody has a PhD by their name, they know what they're talking about. That's a dumb argument.
What I'm trying to get at is that the fact that you have any other further education in any of these topics or any of these fields of study.
I don't need a 7-year degree in sociology. No bullshit when I hear it.
And granted, that's your opinion.
Right, because I'm here, yeah, giving it.
That would mean that you're also offering kind of an unqualified opinion on a lot of these topics.
See, again, you're just making the argument from authority. I don't think slapping a PhD from Ferris State next to your name makes you an expert in all things in the field in which you propose to speak. Okay, the fact is that either my argument's good or my argument's bad. Citing to my credentials is a really bad way of making an argument. It's like it's actually the equivalent of, it's so funny, when people do this, it's the equivalent of actually a religious person saying, citing to the Bible for an argument. I'm a very religious person, right? I mean, see this? This is the yarmulke, okay? I'm a religious person, okay? I never cite to the Bible. The reason I don't cite to the Bible is because that's an argument from authority. Okay, you may not believe the authority to which I'm citing. I don't believe the authority to which you're citing. So you're going to have to make me an argument as to what I'm saying that's wrong instead of just saying I don't have the properly enumerated degree from the institution of your choice.
I'm merely citing academia. If you haven't done any significant study or any type of educational, you haven't established yourself as a PhD or a doctorate in any of these programs, so how can you make a qualified opinion on any of these topics is my question.
Because I have read the studies and I can have an opinion on them.
And that's your opinion and mine was just stated, so thank you.
Yes, that was my opinion.
So, how do you say that some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid? They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
Okay. Oh, someone's excited. Okay.
It's biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing. It's still from society.
Okay. No, it is not in the mind. Okay, you're not a man if you think you're a man. And I didn't say pretending, or if I did, I shouldn't have said pretending. Let me amend.
You said playing.
Okay, I said a boy who thinks he's a girl. That's the usual phraseology I use. Not playing. I usually say a boy who thinks he's a girl or a girl who thinks he's a boy, which is technically what we're talking about here. As far as the actual psychological issues at play, it used to be called gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. Now they call it gender dysphoria. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. Okay, and I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should not be accepted because they don't really fit in either place? They can't just
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written though? Okay.
In the name Boy Scouts. Because this is a very because for all of human history, boy meant boy and girl meant girl. Boy did not mean girl. And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose? Okay, if I redefine our terms. No, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true. Have you ever met a man or a woman? They're completely different.
Ben Shapiro guy?
It's not a thing. It's genders. It's not saying you're
okay, why is that? I don't understand. Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are. Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So.
I'm 22, so I'm probably young and naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60? And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just...
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Obviously. You can change your name, you can change your sex, you can change your identity.
Just because you can do things legally doesn't mean that they are correct biologically. You could do lots of things in the past that were incorrect biologically and correct legally. For a long period of time in the United States, sterilization of the mentally ill took place. That didn't make it okay. Skinner versus Oklahoma. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote the decision.
Right. I still don't understand how you accepting these children that have gender.
It's not a matter of open-minded and accepting. I want them to get treatment that they see fit, but that's not involving me. The idea behind the transgender movement as a civil rights movement is the idea that all of their problems would just go away if I would pretend that they were the sex to which they claim membership. That's nonsense. The transgender suicide rate is 40%. It is 40%. And according to the Anderson School at UCLA, it makes no difference. There's a study that came out last year. It makes no difference, virtually no difference, statistically speaking, as to whether people recognize you as a transgender person or not, which suggests there's a very high comorbidity between transgenderism, whatever that mental state may be, and suicidality. That has nothing to do with how society treats you.
Do you think it could be because of they're bullied at school?
No, I don't think that. I do not think that the discrepancy. I do not think the discrepancy. First of all, I'm against bullying of any sort. Okay, the idea that somebody would beat somebody up is terrible. Okay, as somebody who was viciously bullied in high school, I'm not a fan of bullying. But the idea that the normal suicide rate across the United States is 4%. The suicide rate in the transgender community is 40%. The idea that 36% more transgender people are committing suicide because people are mean to them is ridiculous. It's not true, and it's not backed by any science that anyone can cite. It is pure conjecture. In fact, it's not even true that bullying causes suicide, according to a lot of studies. For example, in the black community, where the idea is supposedly that America is a racist society, blacks are bullied a lot. Okay, in the black community has significantly lower suicide rates than in the white community. In fact, in third world countries, the suicide rate is significantly lower than in first world countries. Suicide actually seems to be a privilege of the upper classes, if you actually look at it from a financial perspective. So the idea that suicidality is directly a result of people like me saying, no, men are not women and women are not men, it's not true. It's also...
So you think it doesn't impact their identity at all, or their depression, or how they feel about themselves?
I think the idea that you're going to sacrifice the entire society's proper definition of sex because you think that there is in legal terms, somebody with an eggshell skull, meaning that somebody who has a pre-existing condition that makes them more susceptible to criticism, that is not a way to run a society. You can't sacrifice truth because some people are going to actually suffer because of the truth. Plus, there's no evidence whatsoever that the suicide rate would go down in the transgender community in any marked way if people just started pretending that men were women and women were men. We're trying that experiment now. We'll find out whether it works. So far, no evidence.
Have you talked to a group of trans people at all instead of this group of, like, white people?
I'm more than happy to talk to a group of any people who will have me, but usually they protest me.
The time, 17 minutes to 9.
Are we expected to feel sorry for men? Is that what this is?
I think it would have been ridiculous until really very recently for any man to make arguments like this. It's certainly ridiculous for anybody of even my generation. But I think with some justification, young men, particularly of 20, do go through life and they don't recognise the world that, for example, feminist campaigners describe. They do experience discrimination in education. They do feel as though schools can be architected against them sometimes. They get whacked on Ritalin for being too boisterous. When they get into the workplace and go and apply for jobs and all the rest of it, they don't have all the same sort of programmes and foundations and extra schemes and all the rest of it. Yes, it would be ridiculous to have made this argument even perhaps half a decade ago, but I don't think it is anymore.
Right, but your main claim is about the gender pay gap, that actually that is a myth. And it's not a myth, is it?
Yes,
even
it is
today,
a myth, yes.
Well, it's not a myth according to the figures from the ONS, the Office for National Statistics, because even in November last year, they showed that the gender pay gap for all employees, full-time and part-time, still benefits men by 19.1%. That's their figures.
Yes, well,
for full-time employment, just one moment, it was 9.4% less, and that's in April this year. Now, there is a narrow figure that they use too, which shows that hourly earnings in April 2014, with women working for more than 30 hours a week, were actually paid 1.1% more. But that's it. It's just that bracket. And actually, when you get men and women workers in their 40s, 50s or 60s, again, the gender pay gap is in favour of men. So it's a myth.
Well, you're right about all of that stuff, but you're wrong about why it's happening.
Well, hang on a second, though, because you made the claim in your piece, in your film, that women are not paid, or rather men are not paid more than women, and they are.
Well, you have to understand where the figures come from, right? These figures...
you must understand.
These figures are... You're going to excuse me,
No, it's all right.
mansplaining, aren't you?
No.
These
Doing it
figures
that
come
way,
from
so-
averages across society. They don't take into account the different life choices that women make. The reality is that women do prefer a more balanced life. When they go to work, even if they don't have babies, they take longer holidays. They tend to take more holidays. And the reason that they are paid more, up to about 30, 35, 39, depending on whose figures you believe. The reason that flips
only
at the
between 30 and 39.
The reason, no, that's actually not true. The reason that the figures flip after that age is because women make different life choices.
Right.
And if you take those life choices into account, no serious economist believes this stuff. It's repeated by politicians right up to President Obama, but no serious economist takes the wage gap seriously.
Caroline.
Well, I think some of those life choices aren't just a woman's life choice, it's a family life choice, and part of that is determined by who's the higher income earner. So when you get to the point, I mean, look, I had my kids in my 20s, but more people are having them in their 30s and later. You make a decision as a family about who's got the earning power. Now, in a lot of families, the male partner in those relationships, if it's a male-female relationship, is often earning more. So the life choice they're making is based on who's bringing more in. But this goes back to the fact that I believe that we still have a huge amount of job segregation when it comes to gender.
So
hang on.
You're making an assumption.
No, can I finish my point?
You're making an assumption this
can
is
I
based
just
on
finish?
some sort
no,
of...
I hadn't finished what I was going to say. I think a lot of jobs that are high-income jobs, engineers, for example, we have hardly any women and girls in that area, and we need to have that in there. Often in school, the choices that are put in front of girls are for the less-paid jobs and professions. If you look at the number of women... Hang on. If you look at the number of women who work in health and social care compared to men, it is much higher, and there's often a low value and a pay value.
Should we be advertising those to men?
So what I think is the way to address this.
Some professions are over.
I think the way to address this is about tackling the way in which boys and girls are encouraged to go in certain jobs. I would actually say that actually one of our problems in our schools is what we're seeing is actually working class kids less likely to end up in the higher paying professions. That worries me an awful lot, and that's where I do think working class boys are often losing out. But there is also
not really a class issue.
It's the pay over.
You're making an assumption.
It's part of the class issue that you don't get into the jobs that pay the highest paid wages.
Well, let Milo come out. So, I mean, Milo, one of the things you do mention, which is talked about a lot, is that girls are outperforming boys at school.
Right.
More of them are going to university. Employers prefer them. This is anecdotal.
Yes.
I have to say. You know,
no,
they're
it's
more
not
driven.
anecdotal.
Well,
actually,
no,
there are studies now.
Even if
3 weeks ago, a study came out
Yeah.
that showed that men and women going for the same job with the same qualification in STEM fields,
why aren't they
the
at the
women,
top of the
the women are
organisation?
3 to 1 more likely to get the job because it's a generational thing. You know, it's happening very, very recently. In the last 5 years, a lot of stuff has happened very, very fast.
Right, George, what do you think? Do you think at the moment that there is beginning to be a turnaround, that actually, despite the pay issue, which we can agree to disagree on, that actually men are still paid more than women for the same or very similar jobs in a lot of cases?
It's just not true.
To the statistics.
Well, it's a feminist myth that will not die.
But are men now
Simply
feeling the
isn't true.
pressure of the success of women?
No, I think, though, where you make an interesting point is that there is an improvement, there's a convergence. I think if you look at younger people, you're probably right, that actually there's a difference between people in their 20s and 30s than those who are a bit older. But I think part of that's not to say there's not a problem. There's still a big problem. We've still only got around 20% of FTSE 100 companies that have got women.
Again, this is based on faulty assumptions. I'm sorry to
No.
interrupt.
Well, let me just finish.
Assumptions.
It's not a faulty, because actually I think what we need to do better at is enabling women to resume a career after they've had a family and continue to climb up. Yes, I know, but because one of the things I think, it's all very well to say, of course, they take a break out of their career to raise a family, but as a country we've got to get much better at enabling them then to resume a career and carry on.
Whether women have a family or not.
I've got the edge of screaming, we must end it now. Sorry, we've run out of time, thank you.
Thanks.
I'd come back on and talk about Greek debt next time. It's safer territory.
With writer and broadcaster Milo Yiannopoulos and journalist and author Nikki Hodgson. Ladies first. Nikki, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. It's brilliant that David Cameron's embraced this initiative, which I actually think came from Labour originally. You know, it doesn't need to be a finger-pointing exercise. I think that's the main point to make. This is just a really good chance to look at how boosting women's earning power can boost the economy.
You disagree, Milo?
Well, actually, I think it's a great idea, but not for the same reasons. The problem is that what most people don't realise, the gender pay gap is a sort of myth. No economist takes it seriously. The ONS figures come from broad church sort of averages across the workforce, and when you take into account the different choices women make, whether or not you include children in that, actually the pay gap narrows to zero. So I'm in favour of this only because it's going to really embarrass these campaigners who constantly tell women that they're victims and that they're suffering under this sort of patriarchal society. Actually, women and men get paid pretty much the same, to the point of a couple of percent. So I am in favour of it, but only because it's going to explode one of the most persistent feminist myths of our time, the gender pay gap.
Nikki, it amounts to zero, this pay gap.
No, I don't think that's true at all. I think the issue is that women tend to take, you know, lower paid work, more part-time work. In these kinds of companies, that's not the case. But what it is going to show is how women are not very good at pushing themselves forward sometimes in the corporate environment, and they really struggle to ask for what they're worth. And that is a problem for all of us, because ultimately that, you know, affects the economy, it affects the earning potential of these companies.
Milo, the latest figures, percentages suggest that the gender pay gap currently stands at 19.1%, which means a woman on average earns 80p for every pound a man earns.
Well, the Office for National Statistics figures are based on 1% of an average right the way across the industry, so they don't take into account the different kinds of jobs people are doing, so really they're effectively meaningless. But there's a very simple question that demonstrates why this, the whole debate is nonsense and why the pay gap is a ridiculous sort of fabrication. And it's this: if women are doing the same work for less money, Why aren't companies full of women? Why aren't employers going out actively seeking women? Well, they don't, and they don't for some of the same reasons that women take different sorts of roles and different part-time roles. Women don't work as long hours as men do, even if they don't have children. They take longer holidays. They don't make as much money for their firms. They don't work the same overtime. So we can't really expect them to be compensated the same as men when they don't work as hard. Now, that's not, I don't mean that to sound, unkind about women. Women simply have different priorities in life. Most women want a more balanced life. They want time with their family. They want to do hobbies. They want more time away on holiday. They don't want to put in the work that those sort of obsessive, aggressive, sort of goal-oriented male professions sometimes demand, the law, for example. Women just aren't really interested in devoting their whole life to work in that way. And the very broad brush figures from the ONS simply reflect that. What they don't show is that a woman going to the workplace is going to be paid less than a man for the same. In fact, under the age of 35, in the UK and the US, women are paid more in the same sorts of roles, and they're 2 to 1 more likely to get jobs in science and maths because employers are so desperate to hire women.
Nikki's not generalising at all there about how hard women work.
No, exactly. I think there's hundreds of women that won't be watching this programme because they're too busy working in order to argue with that point. I don't think that's true at all. What we really have is a social problem, a problem where we expect women to take the burden of family care, to care for elder relatives, and so as a result they often end up working less hard, as Milo puts it, because what they're doing is they're working second shifts, third shifts, caring for other people. What we need is a culture change to allow women to be able to work just as hard as men if they so choose, and that isn't happening yet. But what would be good about publishing these results is that it would pave the way for a conversation about how society is structured so that women aren't able to function as highly as men are in some professions.
Oh, you were too gentle with him. Milo, are you suggesting for 1 second that I do not work as hard as my male colleagues? I take more time off than my male colleagues. Well, I think, and I am not in any way as committed as my male colleagues.
I think, and I mean this in the nicest and most complimentary way possible, you're probably atypical in most respects as a sort of workaholic of either gender. You're probably not typical of women. You're probably not typical of anyone in the kind of work that you do. What I'm talking about is not, bashing women for not putting in the hours. What I'm saying is, in general, women look for different things from life. So they look to fulfill themselves to flourish in slightly different ways. And, of course, if you look at the end statistics about pay, they're going to reflect that. That's not necessarily a problem. Now, when people lose the economic argument, they always switch to the social argument, as your other guest just did. And unfortunately, the problem is that a lot of this is underpinned by this sort of constant victimhood complex that women are encouraged to buy into. They're given this victimhood script about, whether it's rape culture on campus or pay under the male average. And most of it's based on ridiculous sort of social science studies that don't stand up to the most basic scrutiny. Most of it simply isn't true. And I think the majority of women don't want to be patronised, don't want to be given special privileges, don't want to be given special dispensation. They want to go out to the workplace, be paid what they're worth. And, of course, if they want to raise a family, they're not going to get to be CEO or not going to get to, to be a partner in a law firm. You can't have it all. You can't do all of these things. And what really sort of frustrates me, and I think frustrates a lot of ordinary women who, find these sorts of debates a bit dull and a bit mystifying, is that there's some sort of somehow implication always behind the scenes that being, that motherhood is a bad thing, and that it's a bad thing for a woman to aspire to raise a family and to be a mother. Actually, it's sort of one of the most extraordinary things that anybody can accomplish and anybody can do. But there's this sort of assumption that, well, if you do that, then we've got to make sort of special dispensation when you go back to work and pay you more and give you all these benefits and whatever, rather than celebrating the unique things that women can do in society that men can't.
You started off that answer, Nikki, by trying to compliment me and take the wind out of my sails. You have a go.
Absolutely. I've got no time for that argument whatsoever. Women want to do many varied and amazing things for their lives. Motherhood might be part of that. But, again, if that's such a wonderful thing to do, why are men not bending over backwards to take time off to raise their children? They're not, because the culture is not set up to encourage men to share the load of care. Women, even when they're married and working, do more domestic chores than men do. We've seen these surveys time and time again, and I think it's really insulting to say that women, might not be as inclined to work as hard or want different things from life. There are plenty of women who are hugely ambitious. Just look at the number of graduates that we have now. Women are outstripping men. They're getting better degrees. What we haven't seen yet is culture change to accommodate and to reflect that. And I think the other thing is that it tends to be older women often that are also in part-time work positions, but we shouldn't just leave them to flounder. They're often picking up care bills for elderly parents as well as looking after children and the rest of their families. So, I just think Milo's argument is ridiculous that women, shouldn't be paid as much because they want other things from life.
OK, Milo, we've been given more time, so you're going to have to work even harder. It's more than 40 years.
Position with an AR or whatever kind of rifle you're using, AK doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter a little bit with the AK because sights get in the way. But there's a lot of folks out there you'll see all over the interwebs rocking this, fighting stance, typical type grip, elbows in, leaning forward, that kind of thing. With the hand way out there and that elbow up on top, that thumb over bore type grip on the forearm. I started out years ago. As soon as the Marine Corps switched to M16A4s, putting a foregrip on the gun. And we would use that as a reference, thumb over bore, but still put that foregrip on here where my fingers are just on that. And then eventually I went to that angled foregrip. I went to a stubby little foregrip, and now I've went to where I don't even use a foregrip at all. I like, if I'm in a really quick target acquisition, engaging, shooting some bad guys, whatever, say we're going into a house and working in a team environment. And I go in the first door. Yeah, I might be rolling there like I'm going to go in here and smoke bad guys. And I'm just moving around and doing my whole thing, and I'm clearing my room, moving down my position and all that stuff. What I tend to see, and what I've seen for myself, and I'm not afraid to admit this, is those first couple of rooms, yeah, we're in here getting it. We're ready to lay bullets on bad guys and all that good stuff. And then third room, I'm back here. And then 45 minutes into it, I'm trying to think about, I should have put my first aid kit right here on my gear so my arm can rest on it because I'm getting beat down, wore out, and now I'm going in clearing rooms around here by Magwell somewhere. Those kind of things, the hand progresses back there. If we're running a 3-gun match or we've got a 40-second stage where we're running this gun, absolutely, thumb forward over bore, all that stuff all day long. And some folks out there train enough and train hard enough where they could probably sustain that for a long period of time. Me being in pretty good shape and training with this gun a lot, I would have a hard time clearing a decent size enclosure that's bigger than a single family dwelling with my thumb over bore or in a very long, prolonged firefight or holding security on a door for hours. It's just not practical. What I teach people is to be good at that position, but also have some other tools where you're at. You might be firing during a reload and your hand may not get all the way back out there. It might be a little bit faster after a stoppage clearance or something. By not getting the hand all the way out there, but it's in another location on that grip, we should be able to work this gun and run this gun hard and accurately and quickly anywhere on this handguard.
Is your peripheral vision compromised with that?
I think if we get that elbow up way too high, we might start losing a little bit. But I'm not losing a whole lot. I mean, I'm a mobile gun platform. I'm looking around. I'm not just right here front ahead or looking straight ahead, that's it, and I can't see anything to my left. I can scan that way. I can lean slightly and see everything that I can do. And it's not really in the way. It's people talk about that with a two-handed handgun grip, but they call it the tactical turtle, where you can't see anything. I really disagree with it. If we have we can just small amount of movements we can be able to see, and you're not losing that much peripheral vision. Maybe somebody 300 yards away down a hill, you can't see them, but if you lean a little bit, you'll see them.
So I guess the final verdict on this stance is?
I think it's the fastest way to, or the best way to minimize recoil and to keep that jump down on that barrel and put those rounds accurately on target. But I also accept that I personally can't sustain it for a long period of time in some things I've done in the past.
All right. So it all depends on who you are and what you're doing.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you again, man.
Thanks, man.
So I've heard some people say not to put your hands on the magwell itself because it'll cause issues. Thoughts on that? Have you ever experienced it yourself?
No, not on the magazine or on the magwell. I mean, your issue is the jump happens at the end of the barrel. The more we can get out there at the end of the barrel, the better we can control the recoil of the gun. So if we can get that hand forward and around that barrel there, we can control that recoil. People will also say that if you rest your magazine on the ground, when you're shooting, you're going to cause a stoppage, and an event horizon is going to come out, and you're going to get struck by lightning, the world's going to end, and you're probably going to die in combat. If your magazine's in spec and your gun's in spec, you should be able to rest your magazine on the ground all day long and shoot. There are these think tanks on the internet called forums and gun forums, and it's basically, sometimes you get some pretty smart guys and they're doing some awesome stuff, and sometimes you just get a lot of McNinjas in there that are, I think they just sit around and make up stuff. But some of that magazine stuff, you know, when this gun was first introduced to the U.S. military and we were using it in Vietnam, there was a lot of things about the gun that weren't ready. They shouldn't have been fielded when they were. They didn't have proper cleaning kits for them. The gun wasn't set up, the ammunition wasn't really designed perfectly. The gun was initially made as a .308. And everything else, there's a lot of problems with it. They had a lot of issues with everything from the flash hider to the chamber. And then things have gotten better over time. We fixed a lot of those problems, and some of those traditions or some of those bad things that we learned early on have stayed with this gun as part of its reputation, even though we quickly fixed those problems.
So a big question that I see asked is angle grips, hand stops, or vertical foregrips. Well, I think a lot of it comes down to personal preference. But in this video, I'd like to talk about some of the benefits that I found using some of these different things on some of my different rifles. So to start, I'd like to show all the different grips that I have on my rifles. Starting with the SCAR 17, I have a BCM grip angled forward. You're going to see a trend on a lot of my rifles. If I have a vertical grip that is not straight, but it is a angled vertical grip, I always have them angled forwards, AK style. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. This AR pistol has a BCM CAG. These are for key mod only. This SOP mod Block 2 has a Tango down grip, which is clone correct. It's a very standard vertical grip. It has an interesting way of locking into a pick rail. This is the short one. They also have a longer one. This BCM AR pistol has a traditional Magpul AFG. This is one of the original angled grips. This SOP mod 1.5 clone has a old Knight's Armament very long vertical foregrip. I don't even utilize the whole grip since I have a high bore grip, so there's a lot of extra down here I don't even need to use, but that's just what that is. My BCM 13-7, this is my oldest rifle here, has a BCM grip also angled forwards. I then also have a BCM grip just like the one on my BCM I just showed, a chopped BCM grip, another BCM grip, and then the CQBR has one of the old generation Magpul AFGs on this particular pistol as well. And this is an AR pistol, not an SBR. Well, my favorite thing to run on a rifle is a vertical foregrip, a shorty vertical foregrip. On an AR pistol, since this is not an SBR and this is not registered as an AOW, you cannot run a vertical foregrip on that weapon according to the BATFE. You have to run an angled foregrip or a hand stop. This is allowed by the ATF, and this allows me to still pull the weapon into my body, and that's something I'm going to demonstrate in a little bit. So I run AFGs or CAG grips like on this BCM pistol because these are allowed by the ATF, but I cannot run a vertical foregrip unless I register these as SBRs or AOWs. So that's something you need to remember if you're building rifles under 16 inches, under a 14.5 that just has a brace that is not a rifle, not an SBR. This is a BCM key mod grip and it's angled forward AK style. Now the reason I like a grip like this is I like digging my hand into it. And this comes down to personal preference. I don't believe that this is much more effective than a regular straight grip like the Tango down or like the Knight's Armament. But I like being able to dig my hand into it. I have my grip positioned halfway along the rifle. I don't do a full arm extension. I like having a break in my elbow. The other reason I like having a vertical foregrip, there's two reasons. The first is recoil management. I can pull the rifle into my body, and I'm not just holding the rail like so, and the rifle is sloppy in my shoulder. I like being able to pull the weapon into my body, and by having a right angle on the rail, whether it's an angled foregrip, a vertical foregrip, a hand stop, a potato grip, whatever it happens to be. So a big question that I see asked is angle grips, hand stops, or vertical foregrips. Well, I think a lot of it comes down to personal preference. But in this video, I'd like to talk about some
Apparently, there's been a wild upswing in the amount of murder in London. Well, that's not a tremendous shock, considering that the demographics of London have changed, that the policing in London has changed wildly, that the mayor of London City, Khan, is really terrible at his job, but the murder rate in London now outstrips the murder rate in New York, which is pretty incredible, actually. Right? The murder rate in Britain has always been extraordinarily low. This is why when people say, well, you know, you ban guns in Britain, that's why the murder rate is low. The murder rate was low before the bans on guns. And the murder rate in Britain was always quite low. But here is what it says according to Today Online. On Thursday, April 5th, 5 teenagers were stabbed in an hour and a half before sunset, including a boy of 13, All these attacks took place in London over the past week, part of an apparent spike in violence in the British capital. After a long period of steady declines in violent crime, the city has averaged in excess of 3 killings a week so far this year. More than 50 people have been killed in London since the start of 2018. The total for all of 2017, a year when the city suffered multiple deadly terrorist attacks, was 116. Criminologists have expressed caution about drawing conclusions from only a few months' figures, but if the uptick continues, it will amount to London's highest level of violence in more than a decade. A year with 200 homicides for a city of 8.5 million people would be far from a shocking high in the U.S. New York City had 292 murders last year, according to the 2018 Police Commissioner's report. That was a record low. But right now, London's murder rate is outstripping the murder rate in New York City, which is, again, a pretty incredible thing. So I do love what they're now talking about in London. They're now talking about banning knives. No joke. So they're using the exact same logic they used about guns, and now they're applying it to knives. So Sadiq Khan has announced a broad new knife control policy designed to keep quote-unquote weapons of war out of the hands of Londoners looking to cause others harm. The UK Parliament is considering bills that restrict the manufacture and purchase of kitchen cooking knives because they have points on them, because they're pointy things. So I guess machetes would still be okay, like the one that guy used a couple of years ago, that Muslim terrorist used to chop down an actual British soldier on the streets of London. And that'll still be okay, because as we all know, machetes aren't really dangerous. Like from every horror film, we know machetes aren't dangerous, only knives are dangerous. But they're going to start determining how exactly knives are distributed. The tough immediate measures involve an incredible police crackdown, a ban on home deliveries of knives and acid, and expanding law enforcement stop and search powers so that police may stop anyone they believe to be a threat or planning a knife or acid attack. Khan announced Friday the city has created a, quote, violent crime task force of 120 officers tasked with rooting out knife-wielding individuals in public spaces, and is pumping nearly $50 million into the Metropolitan Police Department so they can better arm themselves against knife attacks. He's also empowering the Met Police to introduce targeted patrols with extra stop and search powers for areas worst affected, according to a statement. Now, one of the what's really kind of hilarious here is that one of the reasons that the crime rate is going up is because Khan is responsible for, according to Emily Zanotti at the Daily Wire, for decreasing the number of stop and searches, having previously declared the tactic racist and potentially Islamophobic. So in other words, he got rid of stop and frisk in London, saying that it was targeting too many young Muslim guys. And then the crime rate went up, and now he's going to target everyone. It's not really clear what they're going to use in London to cut their food anymore if you can't get a home delivery of a knife. And if you're not allowed to carry it home, how do you actually get the knife from the department store home? Parliament is set to take up heavy knife control legislation when it resumes this week. The UK government is expected to introduce a ban on online knife sales and home knife deliveries. So now you have to go to a store to purchase a knife. Maybe you have to have a license to purchase a knife. You have to be, what do you have to be, a culinary specialist? They declare it illegal to possess zombie knives and knuckle dusters in private. Zombie knives are those defined as being manufactured for the purpose of being used as a person-to-person weapon, and ban sales of caustic materials to anyone under the age of 18. Of course, that won't really stop anything, since most of these acid attacks that have been occurring are occurring among people who are late teenagers or older. London has seen a dramatic uptick in murder rates, of course. So again, it ain't about the knives, folks. Maybe you ought to look at the people who are wielding the knives. Maybe you ought to be looking at the people who are actually performing the acid attacks. But since we're not allowed to do that, we're going to crack down on knives, and then we'll crack down on fists, and then we'll...
The first rule, finger off the trigger. Finger off the trigger, yep. Finger off the trigger, finger off the trigger. There you go.
Holy shit.
Hey, kids.
Hey, YouTube viewer, what are you doing? Up this week, A Quiet Place. Now, before we get into it, because sure enough, I was sure there was going to be some controversy surrounding this film, and of course, because we have to ruin all the things it is now, it's offended people. Before we get into that, right away, the rating, we both give this a mugs up.
Mugs up.
2 mugs up,
sure.
A Quiet Place.
Wholeheartedly.
Absolutely, we both enjoyed it. I'll get into what I liked about it, what I didn't. Basically, I will say this, there could be some spoilers here. We're going to try and avoid it, but we can't make any promises.
No.
Because the second we do issue a spoiler, it's going to be just lighten up the comments section.
And
but
if you haven't seen it by now, you're...
No, well, there are plenty of people who haven't seen it, but I don't know if it gets to China or not. I have no idea.
Probably not.
I have no idea. But you can leave your comment. What did you think of the film? If you liked it, if you didn't, and are you aware of the controversy surrounding it? Let's bring it up. Sven Computer, the controversy now, people not necessarily thrilled with what they see as a pro-gun message, pro-life message.
the regressive politics.
They hate
of
all the
film.
things.
This is just, and I knew it was coming because as soon as I walked out of the film and we talked about this, all of these criticisms, by the way, from the left and these blogs, and here's the thing, Krasinski's he's a liberal, and so is his wife, Emily Blunt. So you know they'll probably be on an apology.
I think she said some things about like not like in America before. I think
she's been pretty open about it. So you don't want to flip flop on whether you don't like stars and you don't like their art or their performances based on their politics. The point is, this is not something that they expected. I don't think they set out to make a movie like this. That being said, if you're looking for it, all of those criticisms would be valid.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this. The film, let's cycle through them. It absolutely, for people who've criticized it for being too pro-gun, it is. It could be seen as very pro-gun. Namely because how else do you kill giant monster creatures with superhuman hearing? If the film were anti-gun, it would be a pretty short movie. So when you watch this film, I was watching it with my producer Johnny Boy. I said, "Yeah, this film does seem pretty pro-gun. It absolutely does. If you're watching it, you can. There's no other way to take it." Jared, you can come. We can roll those clips there afterwards. But what did you see this when you watched the film?
I did. I was really aware, like the whole way through. I'm like, there's so many angles they could have taken to get out of it too.
Yeah,
like the pro-life message. And like they didn't have to have a baby.
That's another one too. It was absolutely pro-life. Spoiler alert. Emily Blunt is pregnant, and so this is a major spoiler. So major spoiler alert. 3, 2, got it. Okay, good. She opts to give birth while there's one of these in this sort of, I guess you'd say, I guess it's the climax of the film.
Yeah,
giving birth with this monster thing in the house, having to stay quiet, going through the pain of protecting her kin, and actually they build a box for the baby to live in, and they give it a whole oxygen tank so that the baby, if it cries, it won't be heard, and these people won't be killed. Kind of reminiscent of sort of babies who would cry in the Holocaust. You've heard those stories.
Yep.
The very first scene in the film was at a pharmacy. They could have taken a litany of poison.
That's what I'm like. There's a million ways they could have gotten out of that situation, but they didn't.
Right.
Which, I mean, does it lend stuff to the movie? Sure, but it seemed intentional.
Well, it overall can certainly be seen as a pro-life message. Certainly, listen, this is kind of more so it's tossing heaping coals on the head, salt on the wound, pro-family, pro-Christian. I don't think it's necessarily actively those things. Again, none of this is proactive, but they do pray at dinner, and it's not mocked, which is very rare for a film. So I could see how, again, we're watching it going like, oh, they're just saying a prayer before dinner, and that's it.
Yeah,
whereas I can see someone at Salon watching it going, they're saying a prayer before dinner, and that's it?
There better be Allah on the other line.
There better be a commentary about how pedophiles aren't monsters on the next reel. When I see those burn marks, I want to see some kind of gender non-conforming pedophile. And it was pro-family just through the mere fact that the father was taking care of the family, and this was a tightly knit family. So yeah, pro-gun, pro-life, pro-family, I can see it. Certainly pro-patriarch.
Absolutely.
This is one thing, absolutely. This is it is almost, I mean, I could see how the left could see it, almost comical. This is the quintessential patriarchal family
strong
system.
Father figure.
It's never seen as a negative, by the way.
No.
And here's something else that's very important to note. It's still a very strong female character.
Absolutely.
This isn't a woman. This isn't a fake, atomic blonde hitting someone with a stiletto, which would do absolutely zero other than piss somebody off. This is a strong female character who, spoiler alert, takes out some of the monsters, is basically a mama bear protecting her children, but also
goes through hell herself too.
Goes through hell absolutely herself, and comes out stronger, but is submissive, kind of in like the biblical sense, to her husband, in the sense that the husband says, "Listen, I'm going to go do this. Get this done, take care of the kids this way, then I'm going to go do this. I need you to stay here and do A, B, C, and D." If she were a feminist, it'd be a short movie. If the wife were to question everything the husband says, it would be a short movie. And at no point do you sense that there's any kind of animosity because of a strong father figure who's trying to provide.
No.
And it's not as though she's weak and she's a secondary character. This is what we call, as Christians, complementarianism.
Yep.
They're both equally important, but they serve two different purposes. And I can absolutely see how if someone on the left were watching this film, they would see a pro-patriarchy message, because it's kind of there. And this is one thing I will say, this is kind of proof positive that I've talked about this, that conservatives and sort of right-wing ideas make for better films. If you think about all the things that make, look at the top movies of all time. I can bring that up. Conflict, good and evil, justice, personal responsibility, overcoming adversity. These are themes that we've always talked about on the right, that we believe in. And these are themes that people really resonate with if you look at a lot of the films that have done really well when Hollywood can't fully understand it. This is why there's now a disconnect between the awards films and the films that people go and see. Now, there is popcorn crap as well.
Absolutely.
And I would not say this is
a lot of it.
I would not say this is popcorn crap.
No.
This is a good film. But that's, I think, why there's an increasing disconnect between the entertainment industry and people in the United States.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
can you imagine for a second a film like this, if the characters in the movie acted the way leftists advocated? So you have self-sacrifice, for example, from the main actor, John Krasinski. I forgot his name in the film. Basic white guy name. To save his children and his baby. Would have been way easier to abort the baby, of course. If there's no good and evil, no conflict, who cares about the film? These films like this, the films that people really resonate with, it's not only about overcoming adversity and personal responsibility, but it's about overcoming adversity. It's human nature. This is kind of an irony that we've talked about with people who are upset about this patriarchy, or people talk about gender societal conditioning. Films are very reflective. They're supposed to kind of play on emotional strings. That's what they're designed to do. Particularly a scary movie. Fear is a very basic, primal, emotive response. It's a very visceral, emotive response to an emotion. And then it translates to actions, how people act out of fear. And in this case, the only people trying to recondition anyone are the people saying that all of gender, that all of our basic instincts are societally conditioned. The people trying to recondition are people saying, oh, listen, toxic masculinity, like with this film. No, this is very basic. A man wants to go out and sacrifice himself for his children. A man wants to go out, be a hunter-gatherer, protect his children. And guess what? A mom wants to protect and nurture. Yeah. This is why it resonates with people, because you watch it and you feel something really deeply going, oh my God, what if that were my kid? Oh my gosh, what if you're a kid going, what if that were my dad? Or you're going, oh my God, what if I were pregnant? Women watch it and go, oh my God, she's pregnant, and they feel that. It resonates with them. And we're told from the left that this is societal conditioning, while they are in fact trying to recondition us. They're trying to recondition us from our most basic instincts. You find the Hutu tribesmen out in the plains of whatever country that doesn't even exist, so don't try and fact check that. You're going to see fathers protecting, hunting, gathering, and mothers being nurturing, and mothers being violently protective of their babies. And that's what you see in this film.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think it's I think you're going to see people look for a groundswell of unhappy people retroactively giving negative reviews now, and probably an apology tour from John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, because, like I said, you see all it takes is one review. And then you find 8.
Well, yeah, today's backstreet blogs are Tamar Sufpo front page. So
right,
I think you're going to see that start small, start little, and then just explode into
exactly. Where people are going to go, well, you know what? They might have a point, and then they're going to have breakout panels, about the PTSD that occurred from people watching this, because they felt as though this woman, she was obligated to bear the child. Like, it really does. It does hit on that. And I will say, one film that is just the most blatantly pro-life film that I've seen in a long time is Brawl on Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn. I can't believe that was an accident. But I do think it's a lot easier for leftists to accidentally make conservative films. You don't really see the opposite. Again, it's really easy to make a film that deals with conflict, personal responsibility, that deals with overcoming adversity. Look at every single big film that people love. This is the triumph of the human condition. That's what makes movies interesting. Successful liberals, if you look at John Krasinski or Emily Blunt, they're liberals. They haven't lived with the views they've espoused. No. Guarantee you John Krasinski got rejected. No. It's a tough racket to be an actor like that. That guy failed, picked himself up by his bootstraps, and is a rugged individualist. He just doesn't necessarily believe that everybody else can do it.
Yeah, nobody who's been successful lives by the rules of the world.
You can't.
You can't. It's impossible. It's self-defeating.
Yeah, exactly. And people want to be, people create, this is another human instinct. People create teams, people create villages, they want to have communities, but they want to be independent. Human beings naturally do not want to be dependent on another human being. That's not a triumphant story. It's not a triumphant story for someone to walk in and get a handout and that's the end of the film. It's a triumphant story for the man to overcome adversity, or someone to not overcome adversity and someone else to carry that torch, as you see in this film. So I will say about this movie, just as far as why I really liked it, it was scary, it was paced well.
Yep.
The acting was really good. It was well directed. But I will say this. It is absolutely a series of gimmicks after another that are very effective. I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way, but you remove that and you remove the ability for the film.
Gimmick sounds a little pejorative, though.
Yeah. I definitely mean it in a way. Like, someone sat down and was like, okay, how can we kind of manipulate the audience with these I would say crutches a little bit, but they use them well.
I'm so silent. I want to stab people around me eating popcorn. I want to stab myself eating popcorn.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Quiet.
Yeah. Any thoughts? You just beyond yes or no?
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm in the clouds.
Thanks.
Drugs.
I appreciate your contribution there, Not Gay Jared.
You're not the chosen producer, Not Gay Jared. It was Sven Computer. He was the chosen one. He was the one who told me about Mug Club. You're just a gay.
Why are you talking about Sven Computer?
I did what Sven Computer couldn't, and I broke you, and I beat you. It was Sven Computer who told me about you. He's the prophet. He's the smart one. He knows what I needed, and he found me, and he gave me a mug club. And you know what I did? Listen. Do you know what I did? I paid him your salary, $10,000, cash in hand. He's on a work visa now. He runs a very profitable job doing overlays and research. Stop crying, you sniveling ass. Stop your nonsense. Your
I don't know why, because robots do this a lot, but the robot keeps going back to the nipple. I don't know. He's an aerially obsessed robot. It's a new dance. It's sweeping the clubs across the nation. Huge show today. We have the Hodge twins, two big muscly gentlemen, and then, of course, we have a smaller gentleman. I don't know if I would say that, but Ben Shapiro will be in the show. So Hodge twins and Ben Shapiro, big show. And the return of Bull Man is here this evening for some articles from CNN. And what else do we have going on? We have a ton of stuff going on. Also, Daniel Day-Lewis is a horribly overrated actor. Changed my mind. That's how we're going to start this show because I have a straw. And producing with me in video studio, as always, is Jared, who is not gay. Follow him on Twitter at NotGay. Jared Mead, credit with your comments, your thoughts, your photoshops. I fulfill my legal obligations, drawing conclusions. I heard some of the great minds that you guys said you wanted last week in the comments section. So maybe Daniel Day-Lewis needs to be brought on.
Maybe we need to get him on.
He retired from acting. Yeah. So sad. Is it me? Oh, also, sorry. G. Morgan Jr., sommelier. What's the one of the day, sir?
The one of the day is Silver Ghost Cabernet.
Silver Ghost. There you go. Looking for your Silver Fox by using some Silver Ghost. And Slipping a Roofie. How are you? Sven Computer with the overlays. You good? Ready?
I'm good, beep beep. I'm ready, and I'm wearing my Ranger panties, and you can get them on Twitter. That's my
It's getting faster. He's almost speaking with Ben Shapiro's speed.
Yeah, he tried to throw you off there.
The Daniel Day-Lewis, it's one of those where I feel as though I'm taking crazy pills.
I didn't believe you for a long time.
Is it just me?
I watched it back. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You watch There Will Be Blood.
Oh.
There Will Be Blood, and then the same thing, and then you go watch Gangs of New York.
I feel like when you watch him, you're like, I can see him reading the script in his mind.
Yeah. And like method acting, like at the craft table, where it's like, hey, Daniel, we're going to the Jimmy John's. Do you want ham or do you want turkey? An honorable man, I know, ate a sandwich. Can you shut up? You're just, it's annoying. It's this whole facade. All right, but we have to get to other more important stories. 8 Argentinian police officers were formally fired after claiming that a half ton of marijuana, which had gone missing, was eaten by mice. That was their excuse. In other news, 8 Honduran police officers were promoted to captain after capturing notorious pot thief mouse. Oh, foiled again, Chucky Weed. There's no way around. They know they have their police force in Honduras.
Oh, they do.
Horrible place, Honduras.
That's a lack of creativity on their plate.
A lot of training.
We're gonna get to.
Let's see it on a slow news week. It's Trump, Russia, and apparently Honduran transgenders.
Yes,
it's a big
epidemic.
Civil rights frontier of 2018.
A pandemic, one could say.
Yeah.
Because we're globalists when it comes to epidemics. With our epidemic,
sexual epidemic,
with our disaster nomenclature, pandemic is larger. A Mill Creek School District, I don't know where that is, but it comes from a local news because we scour the web for that every now and then. And then I find things written about me that make me depressed for a day. A Mill Creek School District is arming its teachers with tiny baseball bats. Their solution.
Good.
Remember the rocks?
Oh my gosh.
According to the school district, the 16-inch bats, let's bring that up there, Sven, were distributed to each teacher following an in-service training day on how to respond to school shootings. We passed them out with the goal being we wanted every room to have one of these, said Hall, a representative. Unfortunately, we're in a day and age where one might need to use them to protect ourselves and our kids. See, he said it, but there wasn't that. There wasn't the laugh.
There's no laughter.
He said it in the room, and people went
serious.
So, yeah, teachers are now being coached in the wake of school shootings to use the bats with a two-handed gable grip, ensuring prompt insertion before kissing their ass goodbye. Think about this. Even if Mrs. Baker bats 400, almost everyone dies. Yeah. No, wait, hold on a second. Everyone dies. Yeah, with a mini baseball bat.
What this guy go to opening day, get one of the mini bats, and go, wait a minute, I have an idea.
This or the foam finger. Yeah. That was obvious.
I feel like somebody watched an old Muppet movie with the truancy officer with a little baton. Yeah. Like, that's what's going to stop the next Parkland.
Yes.
You know what else small baseball bats are bad for? Hitting baseballs. Yeah. What are they going to do with a bullet?
They're effective, but they are ineffective, but they are cute.
Yes.
They're adorable.
They are adorable.
So,
said the Honduran tranny. So a Florida woman that'll be relevant in a second. You'll see why. We've just been seething over it. A Florida woman was arrested this week for a purse full of cocaine, and she subsequently blamed the wind. Authorities say they questioned Posey, the lady in question, about the drugs, And according to the report, she responded with, "It's a windy day. It must have flown through the window and into my purse." It was one of those things where I really didn't want this story to have the picture that you just saw when I clicked open, but I kind of expected it.
Saw it coming.
Just like if it was methamphetamine, you know exactly what you would picture. It goes
all the
both
way.
ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It does. No.
Just like if it said smug Jew, Ben Shapiro in your head.
Just pops in. Can't help it.
Pops in, and then you open the window. You go, I was right. Though, by the way, it was later taken as a sort of soft admission of guilt when she was overheard in her holding cell singing that she could, quote, paint with all the colors of the crack cocaine. And Disney now has a copyright issue with this very live stream.
You're screwed.
You got a
And
strike.
we're down.
We've just been Owen Benjamin. It also didn't help when the officer asked her, and she asked about holding, and she said, "Hey, officer, you got any more of that wind?"
We have a new street name for Coke now. Thanks a lot.
Or that wind. The Windy City makes a lot more sense, though.
Yes, it does.
It kind of like comes together for you.
And there were 9 ODs during Katrina. Something else, the article goes on to say, actually, I remember, it wasn't immediately known if she has a lawyer. I'm pretty sure it was immediately known. That would have to be the worst lawyer. Who's your lawyer? Tommy Chong? Just tell him it was like the wind, man.
You totally get off.
Oh, okay.
No, that's how you go. That's your cousin. It's believable. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of things that really depress me, George Soros is now preparing to trade cryptocurrencies.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, comes with a refreshing change of pace from his most recent endeavor, of course, of being an actual crypt keeper. So now he's a crypt trader. That is him. That's a really good Photoshop blend.
Holy crap.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty proud of us.
Pretty good.
For those confused about the context of the joke, George Soros is a giant, crusty piece of clear.
Yep, got it.
Clear as crystal.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Crystal.
The context changes everything.
Good.
Yeah.
New Chicago Public School is being built on the site of an estimated, this one comes from Sven Computer, it'll make sense in a bit,
Oh, yeah.
of an estimated 38,000 unmarked graves.
Huh, that's a lot.
From the Tribune. The $70 million, why could there ever be a problem? Like sometimes you're like the outrage brigade, I'm like, oh, okay, kind of get this.
That's a lot.
I understand. Is there going to be a basement? That's going to be a problem. $70 million school is to be built on the grounds of a former Cook County poorhouse where an estimated 38,000 people were buried in unmarked graves. And Sven Computer, you didn't see a problem with this.
No, you know where I come from. Everything is an unmarked grave.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Thank God we didn't plug your Twitter, or you might be facing the ban hammer. A new species of turtle has just been added to the endangered species list. This was breaking news. The turtle, which can be identified by its green hair, as well as its ability to breathe through its genitals, is known as the Mary River turtle. Or by its binomial nomenclature, Postopus tranniturtilis is what it's called. And it's now been placed on the 30th, number 30, on the evolutionarily distinct, I want to get this right because I'll get fact-checked, evolutionary distinct and endangered list for reptiles. With the rest of the top 30 being rounded out by Crocodilius feministis, the Black Lives Matter mamba, and this gecko in a pussy hat. He doesn't realize he can't do that now. Because that's exclusive of our next story. Did you see who was an artist who just had the pussy pants?
Oh god,
pussy pants?
Yeah, but remember it was a problem. We were going to go to the women's rally, the women's rally Redux.
Yeah,
next
we wanted
year
to wear the hats because
it was offensive.
They're on sale.
That gecko was wildly insensitive.
Wildly insensitive. It's like he
That's
doesn't
the
read the
point.
newspapers.
It's pretty tough to sew them that small.
But this person put it on her
Read the
pants,
box.
thinking like
saw it.
I was going to get feminists to support, and she didn't realize like no, they're past that. That's
It's like
that's
Z
not anything.
Cavaricci's have made a comeback for pussy pants.
The what?
You remember Z Cavaricci's, the really baggy MC Hammer pants?
Oh, is that what they were called?
Yeah.
No, we just knew them as MC.
Well, that
Hammer
was one of
pants.
them.
Yeah.
Hammer pants.
They were after, I guess.
You still have a box full of them right next to your Zima, don't you? You
I'm
and
waiting
John
for 'em to
Casey.
come back.
Actually, they brought back Zima, so I can't use that joke anymore.
I
Unfortunately.
know it's back and it's as popular as ever.
Yeah, let's go with that wording. Okay, so when there's a slow news week, and we'll talk about Ben Shapiro will be up right after this, and then the Hodge twins. There's a slow news week, as it's been this last week, really. I mean, Paul Ryan, Russia, okay. If it isn't Trump and Russia, every now and then an article comes along that is so absurd, that is so emblematic of today's social justice progressive left. It's hard to put into words. And if we were to write about this, a lot of people would accuse us of strawmanning. They would say, listen, that's an extreme example. But CNN had a recent article, I believe front page, about Honduran transgenders trying to cross in the United States illegally that is so Honestly, I can't. You know what? I can't even do it. This is after this what Ben Shapiro right now. This is a job for bullshit, man. It's time for the adventures of Bullshit Man and his trusty sidekick, Bullshit Boy. Bullshit Wonder, false statistics, phony stories, and outright lies. No bullshit is too big for Bullshit Man and his trusty sidekick, Bullshit Boy.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Bullshit. I see. Substantiated entirely with anecdotal claims. Yes, sir, Commissioner Bullshit. I understand. Right away, sir.
Well,
CNN just posted an article about tranny Hondurans illegally crossing the border.
those trusted name and news?
To the bullshit!
Oh no! Bullshit! Bullshit!
Okay, Bullshit Boy, be careful. With the most trusted name in news, bullshit can be lurking around any corner. It starts with saying she tried to cross the border for the first time in 2016. He said, she tried again the following year. She nearly drowned, she says, and spent 2 days in a coma after a brief hospital stay. He was detained and deported back to his native country of Honduras.
Wait! Did that tranny pay for her medical care?
Good bullshit body, Bullshit Boy. Especially considering that illegal immigrants cost American taxpayers over $29 billion a year, with over $17 billion in federal funding and another 12 in states. That's bullshit!
Oh no, bullshit, man! It looks like it gets worse!
Shit, you're right. After he returned, he decided to start living openly as a transgender woman. Didn't take long for her to realize to leave the Honduras, one of the most dangerous countries in the world for transgender people, even though it would mean leaving her beloved family. Bullshit Boy, this is what we call a lie by omission. Like the fact that Honduras is arguably the most dangerous country in the world, not just for transgender people, but for all people, with a murder rate second only to El Salvador. That's some bullshit!
No!
When they are in U.S. land, we will be able to help them, but we also cannot predict what will happen, said Flor Bermudez, legal director for the Transgender Law Center. This group is providing legal assistance to migrants and recruiting lawyers and volunteers to work on their behalf.
Oh no, bullshit, man! Not the Transgender Law Center!
That's right, Bullshit Boy. This is the same law center that ensures that teenagers can change in the bathrooms of the opposite sex and actually force prisons to give male inmates scarves and necklaces. That's what we call incarceration, fashion-violating bullshit! Wow! It continues. Contreras has always known he was assigned the wrong gender at birth. Assigned? Wait, she's faulting the doctor for assigning him the wrong gender at birth, even though he has a Y chromosome and a penis? That Bullshit Boy is what we call some blame displacement. Bullshit! Ow! Good bullshit kick.
Thank you.
After she came out, she said she tried wearing makeup and women's clothes. Her job with the idea of leaving the family, but she knew she had to do it for her own sake.
Lord.
And even then, there are no guarantees. Suddenly, the man grabbed one of the trans women.
Holy cow!
And wood shot up. She smiled, swiveled her hips, and joined for the rest of the dance. Oh my God, she said. I just ask God that everything ends up well. Is there anything that sticks out to you about this article, Bullshit Boy?
Yeah, I just hope she doesn't have to ask God in person what with that whole 41% transgender suicide rate and all
Don't
that.
get distasteful with me, Bullshit Boy! That kind of stuff might fly with shenanigans, man, but not here. I mean, the fact that this is from CNN, the most trusted name in news, more like most bullshit name in news, is the same network that chastised the American public for being distrusting of Syrian Islamic refugees. So, well, at the same time, inconveniently or conveniently, depending how you look at it, ignoring the fact that less than 1% of refugees coming from the Middle East were Christians, who were the ones persecuted in the first place!
Well, you're right! Watch out! There's some serious bullshit! No!
Good kick, but you need to stretch out your hamstrings. Now, Bullshit Boy, this article wants us to feel bad for border-hopping trannies who were teased for wearing acrylic nails. And I don't know, that may be really hard compared to, say, being burned alive